Kamala Harris and her campaign are getting desperate in my view. Here she is at a rally playing a clip of Donald Trump, a few clips calling her an enemy. I mean, is that really so crazy to say when you're going against someone in politics? I mean, certainly to a degree, they're an enemy right now because you're both trying to win over the same job, but we'll play this here. Kamala plays the victim card, I think, in a crazy way, and then we'll show some of the stuff that Kamala and her Democrat friends say about Trump, and then see who really has the tough rhetoric.
Please roll the clip.
The worst people are the enemies from within.
The enemy from within. Those people are more dangerous, the enemy from within, than Russia and China.
These people should be put in jail the way they talk about our judges and our justices. Now, if you had one really violent day, one rough hour, and I mean real rough.
I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
So you heard his words. You heard his words coming from him. He's talking about the enemy within Pennsylvania. He's talking about the enemy within our country, Pennsylvania. He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country.
But first of all, not really. And the other thing, that they're pulling those little clips from talking about things being rough. I don't even know what they're saying because there's no context to that clip. Those little super cuts of him saying, oh, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough hour, whatever he's saying. I have no clue the context of that. Nobody watching that video does. They just put that in there to make it look like a more aggressive speech. And I mean, yes, he's calling you an enemy. It's not like polite. It's not great. But how can you say like, oh, he's calling us the enemy? Oh my goodness, this is so terrible. He's such a mean guy. How about all the things that the Democrats say about him? What do you want him to say back to you? Oh, you guys are so fair. You're so respectful. You play by the rules all the time. So let's pull up some of the stuff Kamala said about Donald Trump. Give me a break. From the start, President Biden and I have never taken this renomination process for granted. Now the general election begins in earnest, and the contrast could not be clearer. Trump is a threat to our democracy and our fundamental freedoms. But don't call us an enemy, please, Donald. Don't do it. Donald Trump has vowed that he will be a dictator on day one. I mean, if you watch the clip, this is being so uncharitable to what he said, and I'm saying that in a polite way. I mean, he is a threat to our democracy and our fundamental freedoms. If reelected, Trump has vowed to be a dictator on day one. And again, like, if you watch the clip, he's saying that to Sean Hannity like as a joke. He doesn't actually want to be. You can't be a dictator. There's just America is on a dictatorship, and openly said he intends to weaponize the Department of Justice against his enemies. To the degree that's true, I don't know, because I don't know the clip, the thing she's talking about. I don't know. I mean, I don't trust her based on the other things she says, but he's getting like dinged on this all the time. I don't think this message really works when when somebody's trying to put Donald Trump in jail for not the most black and white crimes. It's on us to recognize the threat he poses. The choice is clear in November. This one here, it'll cut off a little bit, but I'll read it for you. Donald Trump is a threat to our democracy and fundamental freedoms. Okay, but don't call us enemy, please, Donald. Here Kamala Harris is talking about Donald Trump.
We talked about, you asked before, what is the greatest national security threat to the United States? It's Donald Trump. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to tell you.
So Donald Trump's a threat, but don't call us enemy. He's a threat to our national security.
Why? Because I agree, climate change represents an existential threat.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even know that was coming in this clip. Because of climate change. He's a threat to our national security. That's a strong language. That's stronger than the word enemy.
He denies the science. You want to talk about North Korea? Threat.
So this is from 2019, but climate change. Oh my goodness. Here is Mika and Joe talking about Donald Trump. Let's see what they say. By the way, this is after the assassination attempt already had happened.
And that immigrants have bad genes. It's kind of fascist. I think the Nazis
we'll have
talked
more
about that.
kind of fascist. The Nazis talked about that stuff that Trump was saying. Here is Joy Reid. This is before the assassination attempt, though, just to give some context.
Y'all just tell me who the nominee is going to be. Let me know if you finished fighting amongst yourselves who I got to vote for in November to keep Hitler out the White House. That's
To keep Hitler out of the White House.
all I want to know. Who I got to vote for to keep Hitler out the White House. Y'all do your...
Did anyone, I mean, I didn't see Kamala condemn what Joy Reid is saying here. To keep Hitler out of the White House. Let's see Hillary Clinton. Again, let's see the language on their side. Don't call us enemy. Don't call us enemy, Donald.
Do away with opposition and do away with a free press. And you could see it in countries where, well, Hitler was duly elected.
That's right.
Right? And
Well, Hitler was elected.
so all of a sudden, somebody with those tendencies, those dictatorial, authoritarian tendencies would be like, oh, okay, we're going to shut this down. We're going to throw these people in jail.
But just to be clear, she is talking about Donald Trump in this clip. I just
And,
play the whole
and they
thing.
didn't usually telegraph that.
Oh my goodness.
Trump is telling us what he intends to do.
Yeah, so she even says, she says Trump right there, just so you have full context, or at least enough context, I guess. But I mean, so in the video there, I don't know how Kamala Harris thinks this is going to work, complaining about Donald Trump calling her side basically an enemy. Again, I don't think Donald Trump speaks in the most eloquent way. If I was advising him, I would just tell him to tone it down still. I still would, for sure. But it's a little rich. It's incredibly rich, actually, for the Democrats and Kamala to play the victim card like this. It just, to me, looks incredibly desperate. They're running out of time. In the polls, they're switching. The momentum started to flip. Donald Trump's ahead in betting markets, many swing states. He's either tied or ahead. It's tough. I think the Democrats are the underdog right now, and this just looks a little bit desperate to me. So anyway, with that said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is legitimate from Kamala, or do you think this is just playing the victim card and being hypocritical? Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.